Welcome back to the homestead, everyone. As you saw in the last video, the beast got a physical and she checked out okay, so let's get her unloaded and get to work. Well, that didn't go as smooth as I wanted, but she's offloaded, so let's move on to putting her to work. We're down here at the end of my driveway. As you can see, this is a spot that was real muddy and everything, and I don't know how well you can see that, but it's real bumpy. And I got a big rut right there. Plus, right here is a hump between the camera and the excavator is a hump. I want to flatten all this out, and then this coming week I can have the local quarry deliver a bunch of rock, and I can put down the type bar, and then they can deliver the rock, and I can make this driveway pretty nice looking. So let's get after it and get this cleaned up. I'm gonna call it a day today. I got this a lot better. It's by no means perfect. There's still some low spots, like right here, right through here and over here, but it is a lot better. And I did take out that hump that was right there. I accomplished a good little bit today, but not as much as I wanted, but that's the way it goes. So I'll catch up with you guys in the morning. It's the next day now, and as you saw yesterday, I did some work on the driveway with the beast, and then I went and helped out a neighbor. They had some big dirt piles that needed flattened out and moved around, so I helped them out with that. So today, it's all about inside the cabin. I'm gonna get busy and start working on framing in the bathroom and getting that done, and also a little bit of work on the water system. So let's get after it and get this done. I'm working on this wall that goes behind the toilet right here. But I gotta watch out because up here, I actually have to move the wall that way 3/4 of an inch so the tongue and groove siding that I'm gonna buy lines up with the outside edge of the beam up here. So I gotta make sure it's moved over. This inside's gonna have a roof, so it's not gonna be seen. So I'm taking extra care and make sure I get the wall placed where I want it so I don't have to move it later or deal with a uneven transition or anything like that. I think my pipe's gonna be in the way. I was hoping it was gonna be right in the center of the wall, but I think I'm gonna have to change that so it's out farther. The toilet has to move actually this way and back because I want it basically up against the wall. I gotta move the toilet, bad planning on my part. And I was just in too much of a rush, so it is what it is. I gotta move the toilet a few inches, and when I do that, I'll move this pipe. This pipe is the vent pipe. I bought some one-directional air valves that go on 2-inch pipes, so I'll put that on eventually. Actually, right here it is. It's a plumbing vent. I'm gonna have to move this pipe eventually, so I need to work around it at the moment. I have my 4 studs out here. Let's get these things cut. That's about where she goes. Let me see how plumb it is. That's pretty much perfect right there. That's the important one at the moment. I'll do this side once I get this other wall. But I gotta make sure I got a 3/4 inch gap right up there also. I wasn't sure exactly how I was gonna keep this wall exactly 3/4 inch back on the beam, and then it came to me. I cut myself a little block and I can slide up in there, and this is exactly 3/4 of an inch. So let's get this nailed in. Well, not this, but the wall. That's pretty good right there. I just messed up. I should have done something before I put this wall in. If you know what it is, leave a comment and I'll tell you here in a little while. I'm over here at the shower side of the bathroom, and what I have here is I have a gap between 2 studs that is approximately 3 1/8 inch wide gap, and unfortunately the edge of the shower comes to right about the middle of this gap, so I need a nailing backer in this area. So what I'm doing is, or what I did was I ripped down this stud to be approximately 3 1/8 inches, and now I'm gonna, it's a tight fit in some spots, so I'm just gonna pound it in. I left the insulation in there. My walls are 2x4 walls, so I got obviously 2x4 insulation, and I left the insulation in. I'm just gonna compress the insulation. It's only one little spot. The only spot I'm worried about is down here. Right here, the electric goes through. I probably should have pulled out the insulation on this side, but I think it'll be fine. Now I gotta actually pull out the insulation on this side so I can nail into this board and put it in place permanently. And I think over here I'm just gonna have to toenail it in. Who knows what I forgot to do? Well, I'll tell you right now. I forgot to put up the plastic on this wall. And anytime you have a wall coming out into the structure like this is, the plastic is supposed to go continuous behind the wall. And I completely forgot to do that. But I'm not gonna take this wall out. It's just going to be without the plastic behind this one little section. So I'm prepping this wall down here so I can put the plastic up and move on. I'm out of nails, so I can't go any farther on this project. I'm headed into Anchorage tomorrow, so I'll pick up some nails then. But in the meantime, I'm gonna switch gears and start on some plumbing. So let's get after it and get this project moving forward. What I'm gonna do now is install these plugs that I got into each of the lines. That way I can pressure test the lines, make sure the fittings in the floor are tight and good. If you watch my videos from last fall, I'm using PEX A. And for PEX A, you got to have an expansion tool. And you just stick it in and squeeze the trigger. And that's all there is to it. Now this will shrink back around and make it airtight and watertight. And unfortunately, when I come to hook up the actual sink and stuff, I'll have to cut it off down here and discard this. I'll catch back up with you guys after I get the rest of them done. I just finished putting those plugs on the 2 lines, the hot and cold line in the bathroom for the bathroom sink, the cold line for the toilet, and the hot and cold lines for the kitchen sink. That's all I actually have in the floor other than the main water line coming in. I'll catch back up with you guys on Tuesday. It's the next day, and since I'm here talking to you, obviously I made it into Anchorage and back out safely. I purchased a lot of food, like $500 worth, and I also purchased a bunch of other stuff while I was in Anchorage. One of the things I did purchase, I want to talk to you first about why I purchased it, and then I'll show you what I purchased. Here is my Porter cable air compressor. It is somewhere in the 15 to 20 year old range right now, and when the tank is filling up, the compressor doesn't shut off when it gets to the 150 psi pressure level. So I wasn't comfortable using it all the time. In a pinch I could use it. I just come over, turn it on and off on a regular basis, but I didn't want to use it all the time in fear of it maybe exploding, too much pressure building up in the tank and then exploding. While I was in Anchorage, I bought something. I bought a new air compressor to replace the Porter cable that I have. And the air compressor I bought was a Cobalt 26-gallon QuietTech air compressor. Let's get this unboxed so we can put it to use tonight. Listen to how quiet it is. Compared to the old one, you couldn't even talk around the old one. This one is so much more quiet. It's so nice. I'm gonna enjoy using it, being it's so quiet now. Now that I got my Cobalt air compressor hooked up and functioning, I went ahead and finished nailing in this wall. I put a couple extra nails up top and then also put several nails down in the bottom, and now it's good and sturdy. That thing's not moving. And then I also finished nailing this board in that I was putting in. Then I got my T50 pneumatic stapler. I put this insulation back in, then I stapled the paper back in, so it's all nice and tight way it should be. Right as I was finishing up doing that, my air hose popped a little hole in it. Got a little hole in it. I had nicked it with a utility knife a couple years ago, and under the pressure of the new air compressor, it finally popped the hole in it. So I'm done for the night using that, and this is a good stopping spot. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here and start a new one tomorrow. So thanks everyone for watching, and have a good night.